a fascinating conversation a couple of shows ago with our producer, Jackson, who is Asian, and he brought to the table some audio about Asian fetishization. And this was from Kayla Yu on Instagram. But there was one thing, and we had that conversation, but there was something that I filed away that I wanted to revisit, and that was her mentioning soft masculinity. And that was my first time hearing about soft masculinity. And I'm curious, like if you're a man that considers yourself to have soft masculinity, or however you identify, if you identify as somebody with soft masculinity, or if you're like me and you didn't even know it existed.
Fetishization of Korean men. Women are flocking to South Korea for Korean men. In 2005, just 2.3 million women traveled to South Korea. By 2019, this had ballooned to 10 million. Compare this to the just 6.7 million men who visit South Korea. Because of K-pop and K-drama, Asian men are now experiencing idolization and fetishization. Korean dramas in particular feature men who are romantic, sweet, kind, and in touch with their emotions, compared to the sometimes sex-obsessed men of other countries. Many of these women are traveling to South Korea for romance. They are searching for what's called soft masculinity.
So soft masculinity, that's what's like, when I was listening to her talk about the fetishization and what they were looking for. And, I think we have heard toxic masculinity a million times. A lot, right? But I hadn't heard about soft masculinity. So I started doing a little digging.
Is it just like men in really soft cashmere sweaters?
No, well, maybe. that could be a part of it. There's layers, Abby. There's layers. So soft masculinity is a new form of masculinity that incorporates characteristics often associated with femininity, such as emotional sensitivity, empathy, vulnerability. It's a holistic and emotionally intelligent approach to life that contrasts with the stoic and emotionally reserved image often associated with traditional masculinity, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. I can't imagine being in front of a guy that I'm into and thinking any of those traits are a bad thing.
It goes on to say soft masculinity, and I got this from all different corners of the internet. Soft masculinity characterized by an anti-macho mindset also co-ops ideals from both the 1980s new man, who rejects sexist attitudes and traditional gender roles, and from the 1990s metrosexual with their interest in fashion, personal care, cosmetics, grooming, and appearance. And then lastly, from a New York Times article, some say that soft masculinity can be a refuge from the current masculinity crisis. I didn't know we were in a masculinity crisis. And that it can offer an alternative to toxic masculinity. For example, the New York Times praised the TV series Ted Lasso for making soft masculinity seem possible and worth pursuing. Now, I have not seen Ted Lasso, but I'm assuming Jason Sudeikis, who plays Ted Lasso, what I have seen is he is very emotionally attuned and vulnerable, correct?
He's very good at it.
Yeah.
The way he presents it, he does it in a manner where it's funny, but it also lends to reality. And you can see how, as a man, you'd look at it and think I'd want to be that way, because I love the concept of this, because I don't like the fact that it seems that with masculinity you have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
I think you can absolutely be a man who gets to it, who's protective, who wants to provide, and who wants to take care of business. But at the same time, you can be vulnerable, you can be emotional, you can be tied into your lady's vulnerability and emotion. So I like it all. I just don't know if I like the term soft. Maybe that's my toxic masculinity sleeping on. Can it be romantic masculinity?
Yeah, we can rebrand it. Romantic masculinity.
Efficient masculinity.
Emotionally intelligent masculinity.
Yes. Oh, I like that better. Emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's a flip side to this. Is there a hard femininity that women should be portraying as well?
I don't know.
Hard femininity?
Hard femininity.
I don't know that I like hard either.
See? I don't know about the word.
There is empowering femininity.
Okay.
Recognizing that feminine traits are human traits.
Okay.
So don't have to be, I think, beholding to one another. There is also toxic femininity.
But I guess I wonder, because those things that we're calling emotionally intelligent masculinity are typically seen as feminine, what would those traits that you would typically see in men be attractive in women that I guess would be the reverse?
I don't know.
I would say you always hear that men who are, I guess, toxically masculine want women that are going to always be submissive, but I don't think that's the case. I think there are a lot of men who are attracted to a woman who can meet you halfway and who can step up and handle her business the same way you would handle yours, and y'all become more of a partnership than I'm leaning on you or you're leaning on me. Whereas I think some people would look at that and go, she's not being feminine. I never agreed with that. So maybe that.
Okay, harden up, ladies.
Would you date a soft masculinity dude?
I mean, as long as he was... I am attracted to traditional masculinity, but not like in an a-hole way. Like all the things that you're listing off, I would find very attractive, but you got to have that edge to balance it out. To me, if you're just all soft, then I'm going to, not be super into it. I'm going to feel a little too hard for you.
You're like, I don't want to feel hard. I want to feel soft too.
The Bert Show.